No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to Smack It Raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackin It Raw podcast, episode 212.
No, it's not 12. It's 14.
If it's not 12, it's 13. It's definitely not 14.
Man, don't make me go on my Instagram. No, it's 13. It's 13. It's 13.
Is it 13? Was last week 12?
Yeah.
Episode 213. See, Aaron got me all fucked up. So I am your host, the Warden Matt Ritter, and I am here as always. Well, not always, but for most of the time, my co-host, Daddy Delgado himself, Pornhub Poppy. Vince, how are you?
Daddy's home, Matt.
2 weeks in a row. It's a streak. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm here to protect Seamus's face. I am his forever face mask.
And we have with us today from the newly returned She-Elite Showcase, the woman for which Mr. Wreak Havoc advocates, the sun which is seen through the revolving door at the mall, something about podcasts, newly renamed, newly emancipated, Katie Kinsey, Bebe.
Hey, babe.
What's up?
It was great having you here because not only is it important to have you on because you just relaunched She-Elite Showcase. You and Savannah had your very first show. So any of you that didn't know that, because I was holding it down in the chat, but I was very, very lonely. So y'all should have been there on Thursday. Go check that out. Go check them out. They're back. They're relaunched. It's a whole thing and other great content that we'll talk about later. But also the three of us very, very soon will be doing a Straight Talk episode. The return of the draft that you didn't hear because Vince got his ass kicked and never posted it last year.
Truth.
We're going to kick his ass again and make him post it this year.
Truth.
It will be up. It will be up. In my defense, I just had technical issues. Do not ever rely on MacBook to record your podcasting or any audio needs. Don't ever do that. But Matt will be recording it on his end as well. So we will have a safety net. So this episode will be dropped at some point or another. It will happen.
And if he doesn't drop it, I'll just drop it as a bonus episode of Smackin It Raw. And it'll be there.
For the Patreon.
It's gonna happen, damn it.
All right, we gotta get serious for a second. We gotta get into something. So last night, while I was watching the She-Elite Showcase, a lot of you were watching Dark Side of the Ring, the plane ride from hell. And there's been a lot of talk all over the place about the sexual assault that occurred and was discussed, the woman who spoke about her experience with Ric Flair, and then the casual way that a lot of wrestlers brushed off these actions and these things that happened on the plane as if they were no big deal. And that's what we want to take our news and rumors segment. I know there's other stuff that went on, but we feel like this is important. This is something we want to touch on and cover. So we're going to take time to do that. And I just want to say, first and foremost, we live in a society now where things like mental health, sexual assault, all of these issues that were kind of brushed under the rug, not talked about, ignored, or, swept aside are being brought to the forefront, being discussed, and being made the big deal that they should be made. So anyone who's like, oh, boys will be boys, oh, it was a different time back then, this is still sexual assault. This is still wrong. It was wrong then. It's wrong now. The reason that, because I saw, I've cultivated a beautiful little community for myself on Twitter where, most of the misogynistic, racist, fucked up assholes I've just blocked, so I don't see a lot of their bullshit. So everything I saw was not positive, because nothing about this is positive, but it was in support of what happened, in support of, sexual assault victims and things like that. So I didn't see a lot of the bullshit, but I did see some people saying, I don't know why anyone is surprised. This information has been easily accessible and out there. And while that's the case, while I knew what the plane ride from hell was, I didn't know what it entailed. And at least not to the extent and the way it's always talked about by these wrestlers, which we found out they still do on the show, as if it wasn't as severe as what it actually was. So the severity was surprising. We live in, like I said, a society where talking about this stuff, bringing it up, it's important, and people's voices are being heard and valid, where before they were ignored. I personally want to say that, as we've talked about, and as you both know from stories that I've told, that in my mid to late teens, early 20s, I was a sleazebag. I don't believe I was ever on the level of a Ric Flair. But if I personally ever made any woman feel 1/10 of what Ric Flair made this woman feel, I personally want to apologize, because it is sick and disgusting. There's no justification for it. There is nothing that can be said. It doesn't matter in this case how great of a wrestler is. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're discussing. We're discussing their actions, and the things that they have done and the way they've made someone else feel and hurt. And these actions, these things that happen, will psychologically affect someone for probably the rest of their life. You may go on and be fine and think, oh, it was no big deal because my dad told me that this is how boys act, or boys will be boys, or whatever bullshit that you were raised and brought up with, which, again, I heard the same shit growing up. But if we keep perpetuating that and saying things like that, nothing is ever going to change. Nothing is ever going to get better. And these women are still going to be victimized and hurt. And we can't allow that to happen. So we need to start standing up, saying something, and treating this like it is the issue that it is. It doesn't matter if it happened 20 years ago or 2 days ago. Wrong is wrong.
Yeah, for real. Definitely, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. This is pretty fresh in my mind, because as we were waiting to do the show, I tried to watch most of the episode, and the big one was the whole Ric Flair situation, where the man decides, I'm just gonna wear my robe butt naked, stroll down doing the Ric Flair shtick, and out here like being inappropriate just to pop the guys. And at one point he decides to go towards the back where the flight attendant was, and just harassing her for minutes, and no one did anything. It wasn't until Dustin Runnels, Goldust, went ahead and just said, hey, you gotta stop. But it didn't seem like anyone was gonna stop this. The poor woman just felt trapped, and it felt like in a terrible situation. I can't personally even begin to imagine how she felt, but even just watching that just kind of enraged me, because it's like no one decided to do anything. Everyone thought this was funny. Everyone thought this was okay. And it just, I don't know, it's sickening to even think about. And these are guys that you kind of used to respect, and after this, I don't respect Ric Flair whatsoever.
Well, we do know that there was some fallout. Tommy Dreamer suspended indefinitely from Impact for his comments and his lackadaisical attitude towards Ric Flair's
I think the
actions.
only one that kind of and very lightly just was condemning it was RVD, saying that they were doing this, but he was kind of like, this was common. Everyone was doing it. He was never at any point saying it was okay. He was just letting us know they were doing this shit on purpose. He was saying that they were basically roofie girls and shit back in the day, which is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Kay, you look like you got something you want to say?
I have a lot to fucking say. I'm going to save the big portion of this for my show next week. But I will say, one, when you post this, put a trigger warning just in case. And I used to work with real life. I was a social work major in college. I worked with a domestic violence shelter. So I got to deal with women who dealt with all of this bullshit. And this Dark Side of the Ring episode pissed me off to my core. Because, again, as a woman, the amount of times you get just dudes in your DMs, they'll send you a dick pic immediately. That's with technology nowadays. And don't fucking do that, because nobody wants to see that shit ever. No. But like getting catcalled, I've got catcalled numerous times. Mind you, I'm only 25. I've been getting it since I was like 15 at least. 10 years of this bullshit. So the flight attendant who had to deal with all of this, thank you for telling your story again, because you took it to court. You did the settlement, which fuck Tommy Dreamer for his attitude and saying, oh, well, if it was something bad, she should have went through with it instead of taking a settlement. Fuck you. That is the exact reason women don't speak out. That's why nobody speaks out. Man, woman, whatever. Because it's not just women. 90% of it is women, yes. But men are also victims of sexual assault. And that's something that's also not talked about. But that can be a whole other ass episode. Mm-hmm. I just think that, I'm happy this is out now. And people are realizing that Ric Flair's a fucking scumbag. We kind of knew that. Yeah. Again, big fuck you to Tommy Dreamer for taking Ric Flair's side, thinking it's okay. Sexual assault is never okay, ever, in any sense of the fucking word. The whole situation is just infuriating in so many ways. And I can go on and on about it, but I'm going to save it for when I can just have a nice 30-minute fucking tangent next week.
Which we recommend you guys check out next week for sure. Live on Twitch, right?
Oh, the Thursday, the 23rd, 9 p.m. Well, it'll be at like 9:30. I'm not letting anyone cut me off. I'm having a full-blown rant. There probably will be tears, angry tears, but I'm going the fuck off. I don't even care, because it's disgusting. So disgusting.
It absolutely is. And like I said before, we've cultivated a culture that leads men to believe that, and you see this in Tommy Dreamer's comments, you see this in Ric Flair's comments, it not only cultivates men to believe that they're not really doing anything wrong, because in their heads, their intent wasn't to hurt someone, so then it's okay. And that's not the case. Whether you intend to hurt someone or not doesn't mean you aren't hurting someone. And also forcing yourself on someone in any way, shape, or form, whether it's through DMs, whether it's through words, whether it's through physical actions, and them telling you they are not interested, no, or even just using body language to try and tell you because they are so scared that they can't make the words come out, doesn't mean that what you did wasn't wrong. And we've also cultivated a culture, as we've talked about, that is now changing, where women are afraid to speak out. So of course she took a settlement because she was afraid of repercussions of what may happen, or she thought this was, or was told this is the best she's going to get, or the best you can do, blah, blah, blah. There are so many other factors that probably weren't discussed that we don't know that went on as to why she took a settlement. Maybe she just wanted to be done and over with it. She didn't want to deal with it anymore. Like it's a traumatic experience that she just wanted to get over and get past as soon as possible, but also make sure that the person that hurt her was held accountable in some way, shape, or form. Like there's a lot of factors here that we don't know, and you should never shame someone for how they decide to handle their trauma, or say, well, it must not have been that bad, blah, 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 blah. Like it's fucking ridiculous and it's fucking sad. And we do not condone in any way, shape, or form sexual assault. And again, like I said earlier, if I have ever made anyone feel even a tenth of what Ric Flair did, I personally apologize. It's disgusting. And that's all I've got.
I will say that JR went on to say at like the end of the episode after they landed back in America that, they were there. Well, mind you, Vince and Linda were on this fucking flight and did nothing. That's the big component here that nobody really talks about. But once they got back to the States, Vince told JR, these are the people you have to reprimand for. They fired Scott Hall as soon as they landed, because he was drugged out of his mind, couldn't even stand. They thought he was dead. He almost had to fire Dustin but he ended up finding him. And the producers were like, well, what about Ric Flair? JR just said, oh, he got a pass because he's a made man. And that is the sentence alone. Like, any rich white man who has sexually assaulted or raped a girl gets away scot-free. Case in point, Ric fucking Flair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bullshit. He's a made man. It shouldn't fucking matter if he's a made man or not. Sexual assault is sexual assault. You can't do that and not be reprimanded in any way, shape, or form.
And just to be clear, sexual assault does not mean that you actually have to physically violate someone. Like, you exposing yourself to someone is literally all it takes. You just harassing someone. There doesn't need to be any like nudity or any physical contact for you to be assaulting someone. Like I didn't fucking get it. Like, I don't get how none of these guys saw any issue with this. And what's crazy to think is that if you flip the script and let's say that's, God forbid, it's one of their daughters and this happens to them, now they're sympathetic to the women's side. Now they understand a little bit, but because it's not someone that they necessarily have any interest in or like care about emotionally, like they're like, oh, it's whatever, which is fucking stupid.
The whole situation is shitty.
Oh yeah.
Trash.
It should have never happened.
If you're listening to this and for whatever reason in your head, you're like, well, I don't know. Think about it this way. We claim to be the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. We are a very sex positive podcast. We make a lot of jokes. And even on that platform that we use, we're sitting here telling you, like, we'd probably be the podcast that most people would think would be the ones to be like, oh, well, it's just blah, 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 because we're on Pornhub and that has a connotation behind it. But we're telling you it's fucked up. We're telling you it's wrong. We're telling you you need consent and no means no. And if you don't understand that no means no, or you think that no means maybe, you need to seek some help. No is, again, it could be body language and not physical words. There's a lot of ways someone can tell you no, even if they don't physically say the words no, that you need to learn how to read and understand and respect other people, their personal space and their personal wishes.
Exactly.
And never say anyone deserves it.
No, never.
No.
And never try and be like, oh, she was wearing this. It doesn't fucking matter.
It really doesn't.
There was a case in Italy where this woman was wearing skin tight jeans and got raped. But the court said, oh, well, you had to assist him by taking off your jeans. No. That's why there's a day in America called Denim Day, and it's to help, and it's in support of sexual assault survivors and just sexual assault awareness. So don't ever pull that fucking card. Oh, she was wearing a low-cut top, short skirt. Get your ass out of here.
A woman
it doesn't fucking matter.
A woman should be able to wear whatever she wants to wear and not have to feel like she's going to be assaulted because of what she's choosing to wear.
And also, to be very, very clear to all of you, what in the world makes you think that that woman was wearing that for you? If she was wearing it for anyone at all? Like, I've never understood, like, where in your mind do you see someone and say, oh, well, she was wearing that, and think, well, the reason she was wearing that is because she wanted you to approach her. She wanted you to make advance. Like, what kind of entitled bullshit is that?
It's trash. It's trash all around, man.
All right, we're going to move on. Thank you both for indulging me there and also saying what you guys said. And again, if you want to hear more, Katie is going to go on a very long rant on her show on Thursday. Much more into detail, probably much more emotional. So please go check that out. Katie, where would you like to start? Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage?
You know what? I feel like we always start with like the worst, which is 9 times out of 10 Raw, or SmackDown, which is usually the best. Let's start with Rampage. Okay.
I was gonna say we have to do Raw before SmackDown.
Yes.
Get that out of the way.
Yes.
So Rampage, we kick it off. Tag team title match. Lucha Bros defeat Botcher and the Bland. Penta's mask is tied to the rope, so he actually takes his mask off to save his brother in the match, allowing him to get a roll up in the win. Afterwards, The Hardy family office attacks them, and Proud and Powerful come out in full face paint and run off the Hardy family office and make the save. Anna defeats the bunny. Penelope Ford, after the match, comes in, lays out both Tay Conti and Anna with brass knucks. Again, Matt Hardy's out there, so he's interviewed about how he's mad that his team has lost both the matches they had tonight. Then he goes ringside. Kevin Owens is dressed as Orange Cassidy ringside, and he just starts beating the shit out of him.
Wait, hold up. I stopped watching after the Tay Conti match.
It
was Kevin.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know if you saw my face.
Fucking wasn't Kevin Owens.
I don't know if you saw my face, but my face was like, wait, what?
He pulled a Rick Steiner. He was on SmackDown and on Dynamite on the same night. No, it was not. Oh my
God, crazy.
But there was.
You mean Rick Rude?
There was a Rick Rude. What'd I say?
Rick Steiner.
Yes. Well, we'll talk about him later
Steiner. Too. You were wrong too.
No, he said Rick Steiner.
I'm pretty sure he said Scott.
Well, you guys can run the tape back and listen to it later.
Right back.
So anyway, they dragged a fan out from ringside who somewhat resembled Kevin Owens with maybe an extra 100 pounds on him and a ponytail. Dressed as Orange Cassidy, beat this man down, cut his ponytail off, shaved the side of his head. And motherfucking Orange Cassidy, like I get like he's a laid back dude, but really took his time to stroll out there and come save his fan. And then also took the time to take off his jean jacket before he got in the ring as this guy is being shaved and beaten. The fuck, Orange. And then we got the Britt and Ruby Soho face-to-face in ring. Shots are fired from Britt. Shots are fired from Ruby. It was fantastic. After the end, they brawl. We leave with Ruby Soho holding up Britt's title, Britt on the rampway. And then we have our main event. Miro defeats Fuego del Sol, wins the car that he just bought with his contract money. Stupid. You never blow your entire contract on a fucking car. Sammy comes out, makes the save, setting up Miro versus Sammy. I have a very good feeling that Sammy may be the one to finally dethrone Miro. We'll see. What are we swallowing from AEW Dynamite?
The selfish. Well, I can't speak right now. The selfless act of bravery that Penta had in relinquishing his mask to save his own flesh and blood to help win that match was incredible.
Selfless.
Thank you. I was just so choked up with emotion that I just couldn't speak. Like, I literally had one single gangster tear dripping down my cheek as I saw that. I'm like, that was beautiful. That was amazing. That was like a work of art.
Is Sheamus still a better masked wrestler than Penta after this?
You know what? Yes, he still is, without a question, without a doubt. But
Dude, kick him off.
But Sheamus has not relinquished his mask to help save a match with his brother. As far as I know, Sheamus' brother
doesn't have a fucking brother.
We don't know that. He's not a wrestler. That's all we can confirm. But I'm swallowing the match. I thought like the ending was fantastic. Even Pride and Powerful coming out, making the save. I really want to see Pride and Powerful versus Lucha Bros for that tag title. I think that's the next big tag title match that's coming up, and I'm just excited. I really like that. What else do I want to swallow?
The entire promo of Ruby and Britt.
This man said he didn't watch it. He shut it off. After
that was your first mistake.
So, okay. So I was watching it.
Bring the excuses. Let's go.
No excuse. My girl called. I was on the phone with her until the end of Rampage. That takes precedent over watching Rampage. So, she's calling me. I'm going to pick up the call, Plus,
there's this thing called multitasking, but...
Well, I was watching it on my phone because I don't have cable, so I'm using a legal streaming.
Computer.
Choices
Again,
were
I'm
made.
hearing a bunch of excuses, Vince.
Choices were made.
Neither here nor there. Let's talk about Britt Baker and Ruby Soho, because this is probably the best angle, the best thing AEW's done with their women so far is what they're doing with these two. Like, outside of maybe Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, which was also great, but also got kind of weird in the build. Ruby comes out. She, Britt goes in on her about how nobody knows who she is. She gets a new tattoo. She changes her hair color. She does this. She does that. Ruby's like, well, yeah, everyone knows who you are because you won't shut the fuck up about it every fucking week. But I know who I am. And now I'm free to show everyone who I am, which I wasn't before. And then she says that Britt reminds her of every girl she's ever met before, entitled, fucking some dude in the back, blah, 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 blah. And Britt fires back talking about how she ran away from WWE and
she didn't run away. She was fired.
Yeah. And Ruby's like, yeah, you're right. I did, but that allowed me to come here.
Oh, I got to go back and watch that.
It was really good.
Spicy.
It was fantastic. We got two great women's segments, one at the close of SmackDown and then this one. So I did want to ask you guys while I was thinking about this, while you guys were mentioning Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker, would it be too soon to put the title on Ruby Soho?
They're not going to put it on Soho.
I mean, I know they're not going to, but would it be too soon if they did?
I'd actually be okay with it. Like, I saw her standing there with the title, and I know she's never actually gotten that in WWE where she was a singles champion. She was never NXT Women's Champion. She never won the Raw Women's title or the SmackDown Women's title.
She never won anything.
Yeah, she never won.
I feel like it's going to be Thunder Rosa that dethrones her, but I would not be mad if it was Ruby Soho.
No, I'm more behind Ruby than I am Thunder Rosa, and I love Thunder Rosa.
I mean, hold on. Thunder Rosa whooped Dave LaGreca's ass in his house. Like, this woman went in this man's house, sat in his recliner, drank his beer, petted his dog, laid in bed with his wife, then came back the next day and fucked him up on Busted Open Radio, tied him up, hog-tied him, embarrassed him, shoved her dirty sock in his mouth. Like, I'm Team Thunder Rosa right now.
That is a bad bitch.
Yeah.
I really fucks with Thunder Rosa. No, I think just based off of like the history with Britt and Thunder Rosa, Rosa's gonna be the one to dethrone
her. Okay. Well, I don't know. I just think it'd be a nice thing to like get the title on Ruby. Maybe eventually Britt gets it back, and then Thunder Rosa permanently takes it off of her.
Well, I was gonna say like they kind of planted the seeds of Ruby and Thunder Rosa at the Casino Battle Royal. Or Royale, whatever, because they were the final two, and like they kind of got into it.
Royale with cheese.
Stop it, man! You're gonna make me hungry.
Are we swallowing anything else from Rampage tonight?
Sammy Guevara. That man is gonna be the next TNT champ.
And I agree with you there because that's one of the beautiful things about AEW right now and what they're doing. I've had issues with them, but like you build this whole thing between Miro and Fuego del Sol where Miro's going to win, but slowly in the background, you're setting Sammy into a spot to be that guy. Mm-hmm. And now he's in the forefront. Sucks for Fuego that your best friend's just going to slide in, take your spot and take your title. But that could also lead to something between them later where Fuego is pissed off that Sammy, kind of came in and took everything that he was trying to do away from him. Like, it could be a story later on down the road. So, but no, I really like the way they did this and the way there wasn't a whole lot of focus on Sammy. It was about Sammy's friend and blah, 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 and Fuego not wanting to give up and being the underdog and blah, blah, blah. And now, well, you've had two chances. Now it's on to the main event. And the main event is Sammy Guevara, which people can knock AEW all they want. Yeah, they signed Punk. Yeah, they signed Daniel Bryan. Yeah, they signed Aleister Black. Yeah, they signed Miro. Yeah, they signed, Adam Cole. But Sammy Guevara, MJF, Jungle Boy, Ricky Starks, Dante Martin. There are a lot of young talent that's getting a lot of time and also getting pushed on TV as well. It's not like they're only focusing on these old WWE guys or just the elite. So
yeah, I what I like to see is there is a difference between what WCW was doing and what AEW is doing. They're using, not only are they using these like bigger name stars, but they're also kind of like meshing them up with other young guys. Like we'll get into it more when we talk about Dynamite. I'm not a fan about what they're doing with Punk, but they got him over there working with Powerhouse Hobbs. That's not necessarily the first thing I think that Punk would be doing, but that's what he's doing. And even Brian, well, again, talk about it more, but the whole thing with Omega, it looks like it's going to be one and done, and then he's going to go off and do some other stuff. And even within Adam Cole, yes, he's a more older guy, but we don't know. He could be a foundational member of AEW going forward because he still has a lot of years left in his tank.
And that brings us to, if no one has anything else to swallow,
Spits.
Our spits.
Everything Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
that is one of them.
Jesus.
That is one of them.
Fuck Matt Hardy. Fuck Matt Hardy.
The Hardy family office.
I mean, he's still better than Jeff, but also fuck the HFO.
No. Okay, no. Like I understand you're Jeff slander man, but like no, I take Jeff over Matt any day. Like I just can't.
Muted.
It's right there. I'm ready.
That's all I was gonna say.
Okay.
I'm entitled to my opinion.
My second thing that I'm spitting is the fact that Tony Schiavone was in a ring with Britt Baker and Adam Cole did not come down and beat his ass.
And whoop his ass, exactly.
Adam Cole said a lot of things about what he would do to Tony Schiavone if he didn't stay away from Britt Baker. Tony Schiavone came back on his podcast and said some things about Adam Cole. I feel like when they're both in the ring, now, mind you, I'm not really mad about it because you don't want Adam Cole to come out and take away from the greatness that we got between Ruby Soho.
Exactly.
And they deserved that spotlight. I would have appreciated if AEW had put someone else out there like Mark Henry instead of Tony Schiavone for that reason.
But would Mark Henry really be able to add to that segment like Tony Schiavone?
Tony didn't. Tony just announced them and then stood there. He didn't add anything.
They could have had fucking JR even down there.
No. Do not add JR to anything.
Listen. Sorry. It doesn't matter. Tony just asked one question.
You know what?
Tony didn't even say anything, basically, and then Ruby came out.
You know what? They like to strut Punk out doing like random stuff. Just have Punk come out. They just are literally milking Cult of Personality as much as they can.
I would if I were them. Yeah.
As they fucking should.
I mean, they should have sent out Punk. That's what they should have done.
We spitting anything else from Rampage?
The fact that Botcher and Blame got a fucking title shot. Why? I don't.
Aren't they the number one ranked tag team in AEW though?
How?
Thank you. How?
I'm just
Where the fuck have they been?
I'm just going based off of what commentary was saying.
Botcher has been gone the majority of 2021. How the fuck? How? He came back last week and they had 2 matches on Dark and Dark Elevation. How the fuck I don't understand.
It's not fair that they build up their rankings on Dark and Dark Elevation when they know I'm not going to watch that bullshit and then confuse me when they come out and say this tag team that I haven't seen in 6 months is the number 1 contender. It's some shady bullshit.
Butcher just came back last week and they legit had 2 matches. And then they were just like, hey, title opportunity. Congratulations. What the fuck? Why?
Because title rankings, power rankings. I don't know. They don't make sense. We complained about them.
No shit, they don't make sense. Because if they made sense, it should have just been the fucking Gun Club.
And you also only hear about it every now and then. Like nobody's talking about who's number 1 ranked facing Kenny Omega. We're just gonna let Daniel Bryan have a match and let Christian have a couple matches and blah 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 blah. You're not talking about who's number 1 ranked to face Miro. Fuego del Sol just puts his car on the line. But now all of a sudden the rankings matter for a random episode of Rampage for the Botcher and the Bland.
Either the rankings matter or they don't matter. Pick a lane, stick to it.
Yes.
Oh, we'll be talking plenty about picking lanes and sticking to it tonight. That is a theme.
Is it the title of today's episode? Pick a lane and stick to it.
No, it's not.
I also just want to say, fuck. Vince started talking again and I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
I'm sorry. I do things sometimes.
Rankings, Botcher and Bland, title shot.
Oh, rankings. How the fuck are Santana and Ortiz not in the top 5? Because I looked. They're not. Their fucking ranking system doesn't make
You want to know why?
Fucking sense. Why?
Because they're part of the Inner Circle, and at one point, everyone in the Inner Circle was in a tag team except for Santana and Ortiz, who weren't getting tag team matches because Jericho and Hager and Jericho and Guevara were the tag team in a faction that already had a fucking tag team.
That is very true. But Santana and Ortiz have been just a tag team the majority of this year.
And I don't understand how the Hardy Family Office isn't like the entire top 5 because it's 5 fucking tag teams. And it's all tag teams. It's tag teams and 2 women. That's
Which
it.
are basically a tag team.
Yeah.
So it's 4 tag teams and Matt fucking Hardy.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
man.
TH2 is some bullshit. So
Matt
all right.
Hardy has a type apparently.
Overall, AEW Rampage, spit or swallow.
Swallow.
I'm gonna swallow as well.
I'm gonna swallow just because you guys sold me on that Ruby Soho Brit segment, which I gotta go back. I'm gonna watch it since we're done with this. I'm gonna go watch it.
You should.
I will.
You better.
Vince, where are we going next?
Oh, can we just keep it with AEW and talk about Dynamite?
Sure.
Sure.
I don't know. I just never thought I'd hear Vince say, "Can we stay with AEW?"
It's a change man.
With CM Punk coming out to do commentary for the night. First match, Cole defeats Kazarian. Then we get a promo from Adam Cole. He calls out Christian and Jurassic Express, sets up a 6-man tag team match. It is going to be apparently what they call the Super Elite or
Super
Click. Okay,
Super Click.
So I don't understand how you can have factions inside factions.
So okay. Before Bullet Club and before the Elite was a thing, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks would wrestle together in PWG and Ring of Honor, and amongst themselves they were the Super Click because they would do super kick parties, because that's their shit. They do super kicks.
Yeah, no, I got that.
That's what it was. So
but
it's
right now they're the Elite.
They can still be the Super Click.
No, you cannot have a faction inside a faction.
Why the fuck not?
Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like having a faction full of tag teams or having a tag team that isn't the main tag team as your main tag team in a faction when you already have a tag team.
To be fair, when I was part of Smack Raw, I had Smacked NXT, which what's this episode was supposed to be with RN and Jay Thunder. So we had a sub faction within the faction.
No, that was just a hashtag that I pushed more than anyone else that didn't get over. That's what Smacked NXT was a hashtag to get people to come watch that show.
It was a t-shirt at one point. It had a single t-shirt.
Did it come out?
Not for sale.
Then it wasn't a t-shirt. Then it wasn't
in my closet.
Maybe wear that tomorrow if it still fits. Because it was so long ago, it might not.
Wait, what? No. Were you trying to say are you saying I slimmed down, Matt? Are you?
Yeah, it's bad. It's gonna be baggy on you. That's what I'm saying.
I have been slimming down. The pandemic's been good for me.
Anyway.
Oh my God. Anyways.
We got the Lucha Bros versus Butcher and Bland package that we had on Rampage. Sammy and Fuego have an interview. Fuego challenges Miro, Car versus title, which we already talked about. MJF puts down New Jersey. I have never been more of an MJF fan than I was in this moment because you've heard what I've had to say about New Jersey. And he echoed my sentiments. He wants to talk about Brian Page Sr., insinuates that Brian Page Sr. is in hell, or Brian Pillman Sr. I put BP, and yeah, that's how I fucked that up because also I have Brian Danielson, so I don't call him Daniel Bryan, as BD. BD, so shortening all this shit is going to fuck me up. Brian Pillman Sr. insinuates that he's in hell because first he's looking up and then he's like, let's be serious. Starts talking to the ground. Tells him to tell his son not to show up. Brings Metheny back up. Then out comes Brian Pillman Jr. From the crowd with a chair. Wardlow sent to stop him on the ramp. He's not there. Brian goes after MJF. Wardlow comes down, makes the save. Bad guys escape. And then we have an interview with Brian Pillman Jr. and JR. Wow. JR about, Cincinnati, where he's from, his upbringing, him beating the shit out of MJF. Jurassic Express and Christian accept the challenge from the Super Click, the Elite. Christian drops a losing Wednesday Night Wars line, saying that Adam Cole's used to losing the Wednesday Night Wars, so now he can lose on Friday as well. We got FTR defeating Matt Sydal and Dante Martin.
Dante
Martin.
Are you okay?
Everyone's name up tonight. And I just talked about Dante Martin like 5 minutes ago.
Looks like Matt's the new botcher.
Yeah, right.
Sheesh.
I'm so focused on what we got to talk about on SmackDown that it's running through my head that yeah.
You just
He's
want
got
to
a
get
lot
to
on his
SmackDown.
mind. He's got a lot on his mind right now.
Punk addresses the Suzuki incident, which I found out officially what it was. Is apparently there's some stupid part of the song for the gun manufacturer that also makes bikes that Murder Grandpa that everyone has to sing, and that his fans were very upset that it got cut off before they were able to sing it. So apparently Murder Grandpa wants retribution. We get a promo from Suzuki Gun.
Wait. Minoru Suzuki wants the faction Retribution in AEW?
No,
that
is incorrect.
Because that's not a faction anymore.
Apparently Suzuki Guns are Uzis. We found that out too. And then we're going to get a tag match in New York. Malachi Black promo. He calls out Rosario Dawson because she's sitting ringside in a Nightmare Family jacket because, of course, she's friends with Cody because they're on the Go Big show. So she's there to support her co-host. After he calls her out, she jumps the barricade, gets in his face, doesn't back down. I know TC took a lot of issue with this, even though I don't think he saw it. Before Malachi Black, well, he was asking about what he heard. So at the time, I don't think he'd seen it. So Malachi Black starts to go in on Rosario Dawson. Cody comes out from production to make the save. Rosario jumps on Malachi Black's back, starts choking him, gets shaken off. Him and Cody brawl all over the arena and out. We got Anna telling the Dark Order that if they can't get their shit together, don't come out for her match on Rampage, which they didn't. Dan Lambert is his last name, Vince, because we did not get that. I forget what the fuck we called him last week, but it was not Dan Lambert.
You guys kept calling him Garcia.
Yeah.
Who's a different person.
They kept calling him Garcia. I knew it wasn't Garcia. I know who Danny Garcia is. Different person. He's with 2.0.
Fuck them too.
Talks more shit about AEW and its fans. Paige Van Zant's out there, who's probably the most notable person out there, but I also know Junior Dos Santos. So a couple of MMA fighters that were, out there with them that I know. Jericho comes out.
Santos was there? I didn't notice him.
Yeah. Jericho comes out with Hager and interrupts. Jericho puts over Hager and his MMA background, mentions fights with Goldberg and Lesnar without saying Goldberg or Lesnar, makes a really bad gay joke, and then we find out that next week in New York we'll get something with the Men of the Year, because who cares. Jade defeats Layla Hirsch in Jade's longest match to date. We get an Andrade vignette. He's the boss, not Chavo. He can beat anyone whenever he wants. He doesn't need Chavo. Taz confronts Punk for taking his job on commentary. Punk plays the stupid babyface, gets lured out, attacked by Hobbs, and then the internet and all of its hookers go wild because after Hobbs did all of the work, this child that you guys are all fucking raving over,
obsessed with,
puts Punk in a dragon sleeper
for 5 seconds.
Then he gets put through the table and the table does not break, and Punk looked hurt. And all I could think of was the story you told about Ryback slamming him on the table and then him getting that staph infection and how unsafe Ryback was. And I was worried about that.
Z-Pack him. He'll be okay.
Yeah. We got a Sean Spears promo on Darby. Darby defeats Spears. FTR attacks Sting and Darby. Sting sells a chair shot from Tully. Then FTR jumps Sting and Darby. And then Tully wipes off Sting's face paint because he's a disrespectful old fuck. We got a Bryan Danielson promo in ring. Don and Kenny interrupt. Bryan Danielson wants a non-title match to see who's better. Don says no. Bryan's like, bitch, I'm not talking to you. Shut the fuck up. And then challenges Kenny again. And Kenny says yes. And Don is not happy about this, but it's a non-title match. So can't complain that he jumped to the front of the line. He's not in the rankings because it's not for the title. And it's a match everyone wants to see. So you're going to get it. We got a Miro promo on Fuego. Should have moved on. Going to bash his brains in and then his car. That's what I forgot, is the fact that Miro did not destroy his car in a Street Fighter-esque segment. Really upset me. I needed to see that. And then in our main event, Mox and Kingston defeat 2.0, and then Murder Grandpa and Lance Archer, who's apparently now just a New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler because you don't see him on Dynamite anymore, showed up and attacked Kingston and Mox, and they brawled. What are we swallowing from AEW Dynamite?
Cole and Kazarian. That match slapped.
Of course, you're going to swallow Adam Cole
every day, all day. No question about it. But that match is good because like they have chemistry and like they've wrestled before. So seeing it in AEW and Kazarian is still, as much shit as people give Kazarian and like CD, Kazarian is still really fucking good in the ring.
In the ring, correct.
Outside
on the mic, no.
On the Elite Hunters.
Yeah. Gimmicks aside, promos aside, Kazarian is still really good in the ring.
So he's Roderick Strong.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of my one knock against AEW is gimmick-wise, it's something that they could do better. Again, if you call Kazarian the Elite Hunter, then actually play into the gimmick of him hunting the Elite. Like, don't just have him randomly run out sometimes and then get his ass beat, because the fuck is that? Like, have him do some cool shit. Same thing, like we'll talk about, because I'm going to swallow the Malachi Black segment, but I mentioned in one of the group chats, there was a better way to do it. This isn't the best way to present it. There are probably better ways to do it, but it's also not the worst thing that they could have done with him. And it's better than what WWE was doing with him when he was Aleister Black at the end of his run, until, you know, the one night he came back and kicked the now WWE champion and then just fucking appeared and got fired. So yeah, I'm gonna swallow. I hope Cody doesn't win, but I know he probably will. But I'm gonna swallow that because I feel like they've done a great job with what they've done. What they could have done better, in my opinion, is we hospitalize Lee Johnson. We have Malachi Black bloody Dustin Rhodes at the end of their match and leave him laying in a pool of his own blood, calling out Cody. Maybe even send Malachi Black to the house and have him stand outside the house and taunt Cody to come out and harass Brandy and the child. Maybe, you know, like, do some shit to make this man seem like the evil son of a bitch he's supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but they're doing something with Malachi Black. He's in the program with Cody. I hope to God that he wins that program with Cody, because Cody does not need to win it whatsoever.
He's probably not going to, but
we'll see. But I want to go ahead and swallow Kenny Omega being Daniel Bryan's biggest fan and getting the new Daniel Bryan all white t-shirts.
Actually, there was a logo on it. It was very small. My friend not Savannah. I have another friend. She's a very big Kenny fan. Yeah, I have other friends. I know. Fuck you, Matt. I actually met her when AEW came to Pittsburgh, but there was like a very small logo on Kenny's shirt, apparently, because like then he tweeted about it too. But I like that that's the joke, because they did look basically like twins.
And what's funny, I think what was it? Was it last week or like the first week that Daniel Bryan came out? Like, I think at one point Kenny Omega also had an all white shirt. So I love the running gag of Daniel Bryan's new t-shirt just being a plain white t-shirt. Like, I think that's fantastic. They should lean into it and literally just add like a AEW tag on the bottom and call it a fucking day. But that whole segment was fantastic. Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, sorry, it happens. I've been good about it. But Bryan Danielson being in AEW is just fucking fantastic. It's making AEW feel like what I thought like NXT would have been if it was an actual third brand, on par with Raw and SmackDown. AEW, which is why I'm drawing more and more. It's not just because of the Punk, not just because of Cole, and not just because of Bryan. Like, other guys like Alex Malachi Black and Andrade just signing.
You okay over there?
You know what, Matt? You know what?
Did I pass whatever I had going on to you?
It's contagious.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on here?
Too much of that going on, apparently.
Maybe not enough.
Fair point. Fair point. Have you been liking in that department this week, Matt? Is that what's been going on?
A busy week.
It happens, man. It happens. But yeah, the whole Bryan Danielson stuff with Kenny Omega, I'm excited for that match in general. I'm surprised that they're gonna do it. Yes, this is the Madison Square Garden show, but I'm surprised they're just gonna do it on a Dynamite episode. This should be a pay-per-view match.
Well, they're plugging next week because you got the 2-hour episode of Rampage too, which I don't know if we'll be able to cover.
I'm not watching 2 hours. I'm telling you right now, I'm not watching 2 hours of Rampage. 2 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of Dynamite, 2 hours of NXT, and 3 hours of Raw. Nope.
So you're a pussy, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Anyway,
Dude, that card is stacked.
It is a very exclusive 1 week only super card for Dynamite and Rampage with 2 hours of Rampage. We'll see if I'm able to even watch it all because it's going to end like right as we're about to start this podcast. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch everything.
We can do a Saturday morning recording if you really want to include it.
No, next Saturday morning I'm doing Apron Bump.
Without me?
Yeah.
Not everything is with you, Vince.
Did Kyle hit you up and say, hey, Vince, do you want to come on with Matt?
I knew that was happening. Oh, little baby. It's okay. You'll be fine.
Anyway, what else are we swallowing? Anything else?
Sheamus's face mask.
That's
not
wrong
part of
company. What? Christian kind of backhanded promo to Adam Cole. He also called it developmental, which that's a low blow. That's fucked. NXT's better than Raw, at least. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, no. Raw light, maybe. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Before it became 2.0, it was better than Raw.
Yeah, that it was.
How did they name NXT after the fucking tag team that they fired and went to AEW?
Bro, don't talk to me about that shit. We'll talk about NXT, man. I'm not happy about NXT.
Really? All right. Well, we'll talk about it. Are we spitting anything from Dynamite? I'm going to spit the Mox Kingston versus 2.0 match because why the fuck is 2.0 a fucking thing that is in the main event?
Why the main event? Yeah, why the main event? Just
fuck the Fat Bucks.
I want to. It's prematurely, but I'm spitting. I don't know if he was doing it before he signed with WWE, but does Adam Cole have to say who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby, right before every single fucking promo? Because if he is, it's gonna get
that
sick.
In Ring of Honor.
It's gonna get annoying.
He's gonna do it probably a lot because that was his thing in Ring of Honor. Except he would have like
which
backstage,
is why everyone
like,
cheers.
Basically, it was a thing he did in Ring of Honor, and it was like a backstage segment where he would like sit in a chair and like it was like this whole character. It was mainly like during his feud with Kyle O'Reilly,
right?
So like they would like he would tell the story of him and Kyle. It was very well done.
Unfortunately, compared to the NXT version of it, but I don't know if he does it sporadically, fine. If he does it every fucking time he's about to cut a promo, I'm spitting it.
I just don't want him to start his promos that way. Like if you're gonna tell me a story, tell me a story. Like if you're like, who's ready for the story time? I'm Cole, baby, and then like you tell me a fucking story about like something that happened in your life or like cool.
No, man, tell me a fucking story.
Who's ready for story time? I'm Cole, baby. So fuck this place, and I'm a lead, and blah 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 blah. Like, no, that's not a story. That's not. Tell me a fucking story. If you're gonna tell me a story, tell me a goddamn story. Once upon a time,
on a journey, Adam Cole. I want to be taken on a journey, and you're not taking me on the journey. That's what I'm spitting.
Oh, I also want to swallow Jade versus Layla Hirsch.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Layla Hirsch, like I talked about this on Thursday, being like maybe 4'11" and just taking on these Amazonian type women. I mean, you saw her match with Camille at Empower. That shit slapped. And like her match with Jade, this is the best Jade's also looked in the ring. Like, yeah, that'll give me shit because like Jade wasn't that good, guys. I'm sorry. I've seen her live. She wasn't that good when I saw her. She's definitely
still very green. Very green.
Yeah, exactly. But this match was very well done. I loved it. I mean, they both were like, I just love the dynamic of like tall person, small person. That's why I loved like seeing Rey Mysterio face like anybody.
Great Khali versus Rey Mysterio is a barn burner.
No, that's traumatizing. That's a different story.
Or Adam Cole versus anybody. So I'm also gonna spit the entire Darby Shawn Spears thing. I don't care about whatever's left of the Pinnacle.
Is it even a thing anymore? Like we talked about it briefly last week, but it's like they vaguely mentioned it. You know?
They transitioned from what seemed like it was going to be Shawn Spears and Tully versus Sting and Darby to now FTR versus Sting and Darby. MJF doesn't even feel like he's part of his faction anymore. Yeah, they wipe Sting's face paint off, and yay, FTR, but like, I don't really care.
I
just didn't want to have Tully in a match. That was the main thing. I didn't want that. Nobody wanted that.
No. I want to spit CM Punk's like table spot because it was just terrible.
Nasty.
Man, it like and it just poorly executed.
I'm spitting Hook.
Yes. I'm spitting Team Taz.
Thank you. Okay, look, I was trying to tell Matt that I like Powerhouse Hobbs. He's cool. I have nothing against him, but I want Punk to do something interesting. Anything Team Taz isn't interesting. Get Powerhouse Hobbs away from Team Taz, and I'm gonna care more about him. But
that is not what he was telling me. What he was telling me was he did not want to see Punk elevate black wrestlers or young black wrestlers. That's what he was telling me. Just like he didn't think that D'Lo Brown deserved to be champion. Chicago
WWE champion. We're not opening that can of worms, but I don't think D'Lo Brown was WWE champion material. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. If there's anyone in that faction I want to see CM Punk wrestle, it is Hobbs.
Oh, I was gonna say Starks.
No, for me it's Hobbs. I don't give a fuck about Ricky Starks.
That's fair.
He's got his business with Brian Cage, who's not happy with his booking. So figure that shit out. Brian Cage to WWE.
Could be.
Anything else we spitting?
I don't know if I'm necessarily spitting it or I don't know. MJF's promo, Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Katie. Specifically, I want to spit him doing the Brian Pillman Sr. Hell reference because I think it's just important bad taste because that's just cheap heat. Like it just brings back bad memories or from when Randy Orton was doing the same one, like about Rey Mysterio, about Eddie Guerrero to Rey Mysterio. And I think that's always just in poor taste, even if the other competitor okays it. I just think that's like, you shouldn't need to do that. It's just like, I think that's a certain level of disrespect that I personally am not okay with.
Fair enough. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I, however, loved him trashing New Jersey.
I have nothing against New Jersey. I've never been
to New Jersey either, and I don't ever plan on going.
Because Method Jesus is from there.
Yeah, I like the New Jersey Nets. That's about all I know. Because of Jason Kidd, Vince Carter.
Trailer Park Jesus. Thank you very much.
Jesus.
Dynamite overall, spit or swallow?
Swallow. I think there was enough good there.
I'll swallow.
And I'm going to gargle.
Fair.
I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
It's on the border of the swallow.
Next week's show, though.
So, seeing as we have to do Raw before SmackDown, and I feel like SmackDown
next.
is the main event, NXT is next. Yeah, that's what I figured. So, the debut of NXT 2.0, we kick it off with a vignette for the 4 competitors in the main event. LA Knight is interrupted by Braun Breaker, aka Baby Steiner, who wants a chance to prove himself. Rick Steiner's son, that is correct. LA Knight gives him that chance and then loses to Braun Breaker. Now, what's interesting about this episode of NXT 2.0 or NXT, the new NXT, is every match basically featured someone new that they were highlighting from the PC. So the next match, Imperium defeats Briggs and Jensen. Hit Row puts over BFAB, who has her first match. She defeats Katrina Cortez. BFAB does a promo afterwards. It's interrupted by Elektra Lopez. Challenge is laid out and accepted, but it won't be tonight. Austin Theory has returned and joins the groomsmen, and I thought for sure he was ruining this wedding. I've been saying it for weeks. We'll talk about that. We got a interview with Carmelo Hayes. Basically, he's like, listen, I got a target on my back, so I called my boy Trick, and Trick Williams is here to watch my back. Duke Johnson comes out, gets stomped for running his mouth to Carmelo Hayes on the rampway.
Duke Hudson.
Duke Johnson. He's not important. No more disrespect. No more disrespect for Carmelo Hayes. Trick's got his back. Casey and Caden versus Gigi and JC Jane. DQ. Mandy Rose is back. She is brunette.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Saray comes out, makes the save. Then we got a 6-woman tag, and the Roses get the win because I don't know what else to call them, but they all
Toxic
play with
Attraction.
Roses. Really?
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure that's their name.
Where'd you get that from?
Twitter. Let me look. Keep talking. I'll double check myself.
I love it. I love the name Toxic Attraction.
Dunn and Holland stomp O'Reilly backstage. Thank God he is out of the Fatal 4-Way. Because fuck hipster O'Reilly. Holland defeats Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm sorry. What was that?
I was gonna say fuck Von Wagner or whoever it is to replace him.
Well, we knew he wasn't gonna win. So it was fine. There was a chance that hipster Kyle could have been NXT champion, and I was not happy about it. Yes.
I found it. Toxic Attraction are a force to be reckoned with on NXT. Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, JC, whatever the fuck her name is, Jane.
Love it.
Toxic Attraction.
Now I know. Now I know what to name them on the draft list for the episode instead of just Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane. Makes my life easier.
Toxic Attraction.
The Creed Bros win a squash match. Bivens introduces Ivy Nile, who was apparently on the Rock's show that is escaping me, with all of the weightlifters.
Oh, God.
American Gladiator?
No, it's not American Gladiator.
It's similar to American Gladiator.
American Ninja Warrior.
That's what JC Catanzaro is on.
Kushida comes out, says that he's ready. Bivens says, all right, well, we'll do this next week for the Cruiserweight Championship. Ciampa defeats Knight and Ron Wagner and Dunn to become your new NXT champion. Goldie and Ciampa are back together. I didn't see that coming. I for sure thought it was going to be Pete Dunne, especially with the, out with the old, in with the new mentality that this show has had. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we get our main event, the Index wedding. We had Hatchet in a jacket during objections. We had Ike Manjiro holding the rings because Austin Theory is a fucking idiot. The pastor gets choked out because he is, going after Dexter for not giving vows.
Speaking.
Beth comes in and finishes the ceremony.
Shout out.
Odyssey puts down Andre Chase for being Andre Chase.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It was in the breakout tournament, I think.
Dexter Lumis speaks.
His first words were
first words on TV. Not only that, probably, as far as I know, the first wrestling wedding on TV that went off without any sort of shenanigans, interference, assault, was not ruined.
And they teased a few hitches in this wedding.
Yes.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah. They were all
my favorite. We'll talk about when we get to spoilers. I'm not going to get too deep into it. After the match, we see Ciampa watching backstage with Goldie. Braun Breaker comes up, wants to congratulate him on winning. Ciampa wants to congratulate Braun on winning his first match. They shake hands. It is a very, very tense handshake. I felt a lot of sexual tension in that handshake. So look for Baby Steiner, Braun Breaker, to do big things here coming up. All right, what are we swallowing from NXT?
Index.
The wedding.
Index wedding. The wedding of the century.
It was fantastic.
It was so good. Perfect. And Beth, who has been the biggest Index supporter, coming in to finish the ceremony because she went online the night before and got ordained.
She figured something like this would happen, which is hilarious.
She's smart.
My favorite part is when Indy starts telling the story of Dexter sneaking into her bedroom.
And he covers the mic.
Just reaches over and covers the mic, which he also did, I believe, to either Beth or the priest. He reached over and stopped them.
Beth.
Yeah,
to Beth, because it's I'll just take that as a yes, and then he does it to Beth, so he actually says
so he could actually speak. Yeah.
The crowd reaction when he did that, everyone was just like shh, shh, and then they let him speak, and then he said I, and everyone was like and then he said do eruption. It was so cool to watch.
Of
I
course,
loved it.
the hatchet was amazing. Does anyone have any
Just in the
objections?
jacket.
Everyone raises their hands, and
And
then he
then
just opens up his jacket. There's the hatchet, and all of a sudden, hands just go down.
I think this just shows my level of like comedy that like the smallest little things cracks me up. But I thought them trying to find the rings, and Johnny's like, Austin, where are the rings? Like, we're in the ring, silly. That shit just made me.
because Austin Theory's a dumbass. I'm also happy he didn't ruin this fucking wedding.
I'm
I
glad he was
so
on
thought it was
board.
going to happen. I've
As
been
soon
calling
as
it
he
for
showed
weeks.
As soon as he showed up, because you have been saying it for weeks, I was like, oh fuck, no. I'm so happy we were wrong. That you were wrong.
Yeah,
I like how the groomsmen were basically just like ring attire cosplaying Dexter Loomis, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Even the priest segment where Austin Theory comes back, I'm like, I thought you ran away. I'm like, I did run away, but I came back. And like everybody needs a priest, and she brings
in fucking Damian Priest for 30 seconds.
Which everyone thought he was going to come finish the ceremony because.
Yep. Everyone was chanting priest.
He should have, man. That shit would have been funny. But
no,
Beth was perfect. Beth was perfect. But man, Damian Priest should have been at that wedding. Jesus.
I'm surprised he wasn't just chilling out there too. Like,
yeah.
he could have been.
Well, they tried to get William Regal to do it. And Regal's sitting like off
with the zombie
stage,
ref
like,
just right behind him.
No, I'm good. I don't
want any part of this. Fantastic. It was great.
That was definitely the best part.
Johnny asking Indy, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And like not want to let go of her arm after he was there to give her away.
Then Candace embarrassed. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Which they are having a boy.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, they are.
Nice.
That the video they put on Twitter was cute.
I haven't seen it.
What else are we swallowing from NXT?
I want to
Toxic Attraction.
Oh my gosh, yes, Jesus. Where to begin?
Is you okay down there, bud?
Do you need a drink? You sound a little thirsty.
No, I just finished them. I'm well hydrated. First off, I love Gigi Dolan. I've loved her ever since before because she used to wrestle here in the Indies in Chicago a lot as Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah, Priscilla Kelly.
Jessie Jane, I don't know much of, but
JC.
No, it's Jessie Jane.
JC.
It's JC. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, JC. Hey, JC.
You just corrected me. He's like, no, it's Jesse. No, motherfucker, it's JC.
Well, JC Jane is fantastic from what I've seen. Their theme song is fantastic. Probably the best theme song in NXT going forward right now. And then Mandy Rose just coming out all brunette, I thought was perfect.
Which they teased earlier because they had Mandy Rose like under a hoodie as they were talking to her and everything. So you knew you thought it was going to be the face thing.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Which was a nice little like.
She makes a good brunette too.
Oh yeah, she does. You know what it reminded me of? Trish Stratus makes a fantastic brunette, and never pictured her as a brunette when she was a blonde back in the day. But
the comparisons that people make on Twitter of Mandy and Trish, like just side by sides, it's actually kind of weird if you look at it.
I still maintain that it should have been Cora Jade and not JC Jane, but
I agree. Neither here nor there.
And they were a tag team in the women's tag team tournament to crown the first tag team champions. So there's some distinction there, but I think they're doing something else with Cora Jade. I think they want to do like an actual singles run with her or pair her up with that one Aussie wrestler that keeps showing up in the Bachelorette party thingy. I forget her name.
Oh, the one that's just there for Disney. That wasn't. That,
yes. I think they might be doing something there. She's doing like
Persia.
The skater gimmick. Yeah, Persia. Yeah, she's doing like the skater gimmick, Cora Jade. But I like Cora Jade too. She's Chicago's own, so gotta support her.
That's why I said she should have been in Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
Ciampa, Goldie reunited, swallowing that. Like I said, I thought it was going to be done. I wanted it to be done. I'm happy that it's Ciampa. As Vince knows, I have always been a Ciampa fan, though I've kind of fallen off with his shit with Thatcher. Because Vince and I and RN had a very heated discussion on an episode of Smacked NXT about whether Johnny or Ciampa was the top of NXT, blah, 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 blah. And I was by myself in that discussion. But no, he's got Goldie back. I want to see a paranoid champion. I want that. I want NXT champion Ciampa back. That's what I want.
So I didn't think about it at that time because I thought Pete Dunne was the perfect person to hold that title going forward. But given that who was champion previously, let's assume that the injury to Samoa Joe was legit and he had to drop it. I'm assuming what they want to do is a passing of the torch from old NXT to the new generation. And who better in that fatal four-way than Tommaso Ciampa to pass that torch down the line? And it could very well be Brock Breaker or someone else, maybe Carmelo Hayes. I think they're going to wait it out for a few months to determine who that new guy is going to be. But I think Ciampa is the perfect guy to hold down the fort.
It could still be Pete Dunne because Pete Dunne's still really young. Like, he's not an old indie guy that they signed. Like, they signed him when he was young, longest rating NXT UK champion. I really want to see him get his just due in NXT like he did in NXT UK.
He just signed a 3-year extension too.
Yeah,
he just signed an extension. So, Katie, we've been talking about what do you want to swallow besides the wedding?
Well, I also said toxic attraction first. Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Oh, okay.
And then you came.
Tends to happen. I'm into toxic attraction in a story of my love life.
Oh my god.
BFAB's debut.
Fantastic.
I don't know. I'm kind of iffy about it. I was excited for her to get in the ring, but I just wasn't a fan of the match.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's just her and whoever just don't have
Katrina
chemistry. Yeah, her. And I don't know. Just it didn't seem. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like a lot of like the women's matches on like AEW. Like that something just wasn't clicking for some reason.
Okay.
But I'm excited to see what she can do, especially when her and Elektra Lopez go at it.
For sure. Carmelo Hayes, his whole segment with Trick Williams. Fucking fantastic.
I have a theory about this.
An Austin theory?
An Austin theory?
Shout out to Getcho.
So he brings in Trick. What if, and I don't know if he actually could, if he uses that contract thing, whatever, for the tag titles?
Technically, he can. It doesn't specify what championship. I think it'd be a boneheaded move to go for a tag title when you can challenge for the NXT title.
Like Swerve it's still in this thing with Legado.
Mm.
He's not gonna go after Ciampa. At least not right now. MSK aren't really doing anything.
Don't just slander MSK.
I'm gonna slander
them. They're not doing anything.
They're not.
They haven't really done anything since they showed up.
I resent this.
Well, tough shit, Vince.
It's not their fault that they're not being booked or used.
They had a match like last week, and then Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch got the shit kicked out of them. Like,
they were overshadowed by the fact that Oni and Danny got beat up.
Exactly. So I think Carmelo and Trick should go after MSK for the tag titles.
It would be a banger match. We have yet to see what Trick Williams can do in the ring, but we know what Carmelo Hayes can do. Despite whatever Matt may think of MSK, I think he can agree that in the ring they can deliver. And between the three guys that we know of and Trick Williams, what Matt? What?
Nothing.
Okay, sounded like you wanted to say something there.
Nobody said anything.
I'm very defensive about MSK.
I understand, and I still maintain that the best thing they ever did was eat popcorn in the corner with Beth. But that's neither here nor there.
Should have done that during the wedding.
Or the fact that the best member of MSK stayed in Impact, but also neither here nor there.
I resent that statement.
Is it wrong?
Yes, incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Incorrect.
Jesus.
Okay. Are we spitting anything from NXT? Oh, yes, I'm spitting fucking Drake Maverick being on NXT because he was just on Raw last week.
Yep.
What the fuck? So here's the thing. I let it slide last week because it was a pre-tape segment for the bachelor party. He wasn't actually on the show, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Drake Maverick's on NXT after being on Raw. Did he get fucking called up in the 24/7 division? I don't know because he wasn't there this fucking week. But he's having a match on NXT. So if he's having a match on NXT, he shouldn't be fucking on Raw. And this is the beginning of a very long night for all of you. Yes.
Drake Maverick actually was on Raw in the 24. He had like a brief thing
Backstage
on
segment.
yeah,
Was
backstage.
there a 24/7 thing on Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Jeff
Where they
Hardy in
try
it?
No.
No, because Jeff had the match with Damian Priest.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys all bitched and whined and complained on the internet about how Jeff Hardy's not being used properly, and then they took him out of the best thing he could be fucking doing, which is a 24/7 title, and had him lose on TV. So congratulations, IWC. He's back to taking L's, where he could be doing something entertaining for once.
Listen, he took a L, but he'll bounce back.
He'll bounce off something, all right. Back to the 24/7 division.
Jesus.
I was just hoping you would catch the song, but it's fine.
I caught it, Katie, but you know, like,
Thank you.
I'm
NXT spits.
Wait, one more swallow. I want to swallow Braun Breaker because at first I was gonna spit the segment because it just felt like Mojo Rawley 2.0. And keep in mind, I didn't know who he was going into the show. Then I saw his like the whole like siren, the siren for his theme song, the actual match itself, and then him in general is like he really impressed me, and he's a guy that I'm gonna be keeping an eye on going forward.
I'm spitting his fucking name.
Yep.
Braun Breaker.
I'm spitting a lot of these bullshit fucking names, and I'm also spitting the fact that they're not allowed to say that he's whatever Steiner's son.
Rick Steiner's son.
Yeah, like they're not allowed to say that.
I think there's beef with Scott Steiner and WWE. That's why.
Who gives a fuck? Scott Steiner wasn't Big Papa pumping out kids. Rick was. So they're completely different people. Yeah, they're family, but they're completely different people. Let this kid be a fucking Steiner. He's a Steiner.
And what's weird, even when like wrestlers don't have like their like last name or their family, they still like, oh, they're a second generation wrestler, they're a third generation wrestler, they're the son of so and so, you know?
Yeah.
But
like,
want to know
weird. Yeah.
Want to know Rick Breaker? Is that what we're gonna pretend his name is? Second generation of Rick Breaker, the dog face. They even mentioned the dog face gremlin in his match, which is kind of what got me thinking, hey, maybe this might be a Steiner because they were comparing him to his fucking father, Rick Steiner, right. The dog face gremlin.
I think that was just like a subtle thing that Tom Phillips tried to slip in there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm spitting his name, but I did like him. What bothered me was that his ring gear matched the whole new fucking paint crayon came all over NXT, which I'm also spitting. So from the very beginning of the show, they gave you a new entranceway that looked very much main roster and not NXT. It's the LED entranceway with the circular shit and blah, blah, blah. And it literally looks like a box of Crayolas got jacked off all over the fucking arena. The lights are up. Everything's bright. As I've said before, I like my fucking NXT to look like an underground fight club, dark and dingy. Maybe people are in the crowd placing bets. NXT fans are fucking animals. They belong behind plexiglass and cages.
So
let's be honest.
I'm gonna disagree. So there's the aspects that I did like about the presentation and stuff that I hated. I hated the color scheme. I hated the color splash. I thought it was stupid. It felt like it just like a Nickelodeon TV like show at Nick and Night or something. I hated the aspect that it kind of looked kind of like old school NWA. I didn't like that aspect of it in terms of the crowd, but I did like that the arena was a little bit more well lit. You're able to see the fans more. It actually felt like a room was full, other than with what like it was with what was it, the CWC, where like everyone was behind the glass, behind the cage, and you could barely see anyone. And I hated that.
It is still the CWC.
Well, like the original incarnation of the CWC.
That's where the fans belong. Like, you don't want to look at them. They're not attractive people. They belong behind cages and glass.
Throughout this whole pandemic, we've been saying that the fans have been missing from the show, and NXT doing that really didn't help that aspect. I like what they did this week because I'm able to see the fans being excited. It makes me a little bit more excited. I think that.
But now they can't beat on the glass during the matches and when they're excited.
The fact that there's no barricade is weird to me. I thought that was weird. Like, I think it's just like the old school
indie-esque.
I didn't like that aspect of it. It feels like someone went in and tried to create their own create arena in WWE 2K and didn't finish. That's how it felt like to me.
Okay.
I do like the whites. It looks. There's some aspects that I like. There's some aspects that I didn't like.
Obviously, you like the white.
Yeah.
Look at your background.
Yeah. Wait, what background?
Everything behind you, the all white everything in that room behind you.
Motherfucker just said what background?
Like motherfucking motherfucking young Jeezy in here, just all white everything.
It's eggshell weights. There's a distinction.
Also, is
No.
Vince glitching for you, or is it just me?
Yeah,
It's
his
me.
audio's coming in fine, but his video's glitching, which is not a problem.
It keeps throwing me off because I keep thinking I'm glitching.
No.
Like it's
Just
Give me a
keep
sec.
your eye on me.
I'm gonna see if
As long as I'm
I'm gonna
moving,
see if
you're
I can fix that.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can fix it. Give me a sec.
Okay.
BRB.
Good.
All right. Well,
Okay, that's
while
fine.
Vince does that, you got anything else to spit from NXT?
Besides the names, which really pissed me off. Not really. I enjoyed the reincarnation of NXT. I mean, I liked grungy NXT and people like getting the heads kicked off and people getting beat up in parking lots, that kind of shit.
I guarantee you we're never going to hear Poppy in the NXT arena again.
That's so disappointing. Which that's one of the things I loved about NXT was like the theme was metal and hard rock, and now it's just a black screen. And all of the takeovers were like metal and rock, and I loved that because that's like some of my favorite type of music. I mean, I'm gonna miss that a little bit, but I'll be okay.
I don't mind the transition to rap. I enjoy that they're kind of embracing that culture a little bit with what they're doing with NXT, and I'm all good with that.
It all makes sense.
Yeah. Overall, NXT spit or swallow.
I think there was enough good to swallow. Just the wedding alone.
Exactly. The wedding alone, you swallow.
Yeah. No. So I didn't really expect to like this episode of NXT as much as I did. So I'm swallowing on that aspect as well. Also, champion. Gotta love it.
2.0.
Yeah. How many times is Jenny Gargano been NXT champion?
Once.
Oh, interesting. Raw. I guess we have to go Raw because SmackDown's last.
We have to go Raw.
We kick off Raw with Big E, Orton, and the former almighty WWE champion Bobby Lashley join him in the ring. We get another Riddle, shut your dumb ass up. I need that on a shirt so fucking bad from MVP. MVP and Orton trade insults. MVP tries to play mind games with Big E about cashing in on Bobby. Randy wants Bobby to focus on him. Bobby has words with both guys, slaps the Money in the Bank out of the ring, and then catches an RKO. We got a Charlotte Flair interview. She's going to be Shayna. She's going to beat Shayna like she did Nia. Nia and Shayna are still having issues from earlier today. Charlotte defeats Shayna. Alexa comes out, says she's got a gift for Charlotte, presents her with her own doll. So this isn't Lily, this is Charlie. And fucking Charlotte is very disrespectful with the doll. She's probably losing the title next week after that, what we saw on Dark Side of the Ring. Drew and the Viking Raiders defeat Jinder and Friends in a 6-man tag match. Hey, look, Shanky actually got to wrestle and take a loss. The New Day reunite with Big E backstage, which had me very, very worried. Also, something that I thought was going to happen didn't happen.
Thank God for that.
Damian Priest defeats Jeff Hardy. Talked about already. Hardy taking L's like he should. Sheamus jumps Priest, but Sheamus catches a brogue kick from Priest. Hit him with his own finish. Nikki wants to make a celebration. Rhea says that they need to focus. Natalya calls them freaks. Nikki challenges Tamina before Rhea's match with Natalya. They brawl. Sonya makes the match. Nikki defeats Tamina in a very confusing finish. Nikki got the pin, but Tamina technically kicked out. The announcers say Tamina's the winner and play her music. Then we come back from break and they say that no, Nikki won. I don't know what the fuck happened. But Rhea did defeat Natalya, and we're ignoring the fact that Shotzi and Tegan are number 1 contenders, which is some fucking bullshit. Randy tunes out Riddle with headphones because he's a smart man, and that's what you should all do.
It is now a meme.
New Day, Ali, and Mansoor lose to Mace, T-Bar, AJ, and Omos. If that is a meme, you need to send it to me. I need that. Almost kills everybody. Double D defeats Eva. Bobby defeats Randy in their main event title match. But then two of the greatest things in the world happen. So after Bobby defeats Randy, Bobby doesn't want to go because of his knee. So Big E bitch slaps him, and then the match gets started. Big E wins the championship. Before that happens, Bobby is destroying Randy and Riddle. He puts Riddle up on his shoulders and rams that man's stupid fucking face so hard into the turnbuckle it sends him spinning. I have never popped so hard in my fucking life. Bobby and MVP are all the feels tonight with the shut your stupid face and then shutting his stupid face with a turnbuckle. Loved it. Neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen, new WWE champion, Big E. And he celebrates with his boys, the New Day, and they do not turn on him in the end.
Okay, like before we get into Spitzer Swallows, stop it. New Day should never break up. I don't give a fuck. I know what I said about Undisputed Era. I know what we say about all these other factions. New Day are different. New Day are fucking different. They can still be single successful wrestlers without having to break up. They don't need to turn heel. No. Don't I ever want to see that? Never want to see that. Ever. I'm glad it didn't happen. And anyone that says otherwise is evil.
I say otherwise.
No, that's a wrestler in Japan.
New Japan, yes. Evil is cool too. I like Evil.
Also, another reason to tune into Katie's show on Thursday is for the Q&A. May be very entertaining.
I'm not gonna do that question to her.
What?
Maybe not this week. No, because with all this dark side shit, I'm already gonna be pissed off. So I don't want her to also be pissed off. One of us being pissed off is enough.
I want to spread them out.
So maybe next week, if not.
I'm just saying, I submitted a fantastic question for the Q&A that you should all tune in and listen to. That has to do with kind of what Katie just talked about. But anyway, Swallows, obviously we're all swallowing Big E finally becoming WWE champion, defeating the almighty Bobby Lashley, no longer WWE champion. Bobby had that, they made Bobby look strong because he hurt his knee putting Orton through the table.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't at 100%. Obviously, he'd also just finished a match. So I'm sure we're going to get a return of Bobby and Big E at some point.
Yep.
Wouldn't even be surprised if they decide to go Randy, Bobby, Big E at Extreme Rules. And
no more triple threats. I'm done.
I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Enough of those.
No. So I will say don't do that as well, only because unfortunately for us, RK Bro is the tag team champions and they should be in the fucking tag team division. They should not be competing for the WWE title and tying up the tag team champions. If we bitch about the women doing it,
thank you.
When they're tag team champions, we got to bitch about the men doing it too.
Thank you.
We're all about equality on here.
Unless
stay in your fucking lane, which is the tag division, and be a tag team. And please lose those titles very soon and send Riddle over with Jeff to compete in the 24/7 division where you guys can have them on TV and I'm happy with their place.
Jesus.
Hashtag Riddle over Riddle. What else are we swallowing?
Always. Is there anything else to swallow? I'm trying to think.
The Biggie, Bobby, Randy stuff in the beginning of Raw.
So we're swallowing everything Big E, Bobby, Randy.
Yeah, basically. Also, MVP's out with a broken rib indefinitely right now because that RKO he took on the floor. And you're talking about, I guess I'll save it for Spitz. Never mind.
Okay.
And then the New Day reuniting with Big E as well. So everything Big E, because that's really the big takeaway is we're all excited Big E's finally fucking WWE champion. I can't wait to see him dry hump the championship the way he did the Money in the Bank and swivel his hips around and be fucking Big E.
Also, 2 black WWE champions in the span of a year.
Back to back.
First time ever that the WWE championship has gone from a black man to a black man.
Hopefully this is a trend that continues to carry on.
Absolutely.
I want to see it. Montez Ford, you're next.
I'm going to swallow the Alexa Charlotte stuff. I fucking love it. I like that she got her own doll. I'm excited for the feud. She
That means
fucked up.
Bliss is probably gonna win at Extreme Rules.
Which good.
She fucked up and put the doll in the trash. And if you've never seen a horror movie in your life, you know you don't throw evil dolls in the garbage because A, they don't stay there, and B, disrespecting possessed items is a terrible, terrible move.
So as a
Yeah,
novice of horror films, Matt, what would be the appropriate response to receiving a horror doll and you want to dispose of it because you don't want it in your possession?
The only proper way to do it without getting yourself in trouble is getting it behind a piece of blessed glass in a cage where it is contained and have it blessed by a priest frequently to keep it contained.
AKA Annabelle.
Yes.
It's a good thing I'm Mexican. I have my connections.
Yeah. But don't just give it to the priest and expect it to go away, because if you just hand it off and be like, oh, well, I'm done, it may kill the priest and come back for you. You got to make sure that shit's contained. Contact an expert and make sure it's taken care of. Definitely don't throw it in the trash. That's how your house burns down.
Just contact someone who is with the Warrens.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. Spit.
Swallowing.
Yeah. Okay. I know. Now let me say this. Not for Jeff Hardy, but I liked the match. Mainly for Damian Priest. And Jeff took an L, but there was one certain part of the match that I liked. It was like them like countering back and forth. And like I saw the clip of it on Twitter again. That's what like reminded me about it. It was that alone that I liked. Because like Jeff aside, Damian Priest is champ. We love to see it. And that I don't know who will go after next, or who will come after him next, I should say. But I liked especially that one part of the match. It was, I mean, yeah, put Jeff back in 24/7 because he's not doing anything else.
I'll risk getting muted. I like the match. I thought Jeff Hardy was Damian Priest. It's a good match.
See, that's exactly what I didn't want to do.
See, now she went the right way about it. She said, I like the match and Jeff took an L, which is a great reason to swallow, because Jeff took an L and it was a good match because Damian Priest is awesome. Now, mind you, I'm expecting Sheamus's face mask here to spit the fact that Sheamus took his finisher from Damian Priest.
Yes. That how dare you, Damian Priest? You have better. You know better. He knows better. Wait, what? What?
You heard me.
Man, if you love me, mute her.
No.
I want to see how this plays out. She just said that Damian Priest does a better bro kick than Sheamus.
What are you gonna do about it, Vince?
Well, I can't really do anything. That's your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their wrong opinion. That's neither here nor there. Sheamus does the best bro kick there ever is and ever will be.
No.
Regardless of the fact, I am going to go ahead and one more swallow. I do like that Sheamus and Damian Priest is still continuing. I do really like that. I thought Drew McIntyre was kind of like muddying things up there for a bit. So I'm kind of cool. And it's nice to see Sheamus putting over younger talent. You know, just lets you know the kind of man that he is.
Yeah, I really can't wait for him to lose again by Damian Priest giving him a bro kick. It's going to be great.
So
he's gonna bro kick him and then hit the lights.
You're not on the greatest mass wrestler of all time bandwagon there?
Because he's not the greatest mass wrestler of all time in any way, shape, or form.
Name someone better.
I could name you a laundry list of people who are better.
That are great, fantastic, bar no Sheamus.
Undertaker.
Mysterio.
Love Ray. He's number 2.
You're so fucking blasphemous. It's insane. You're disrespectful.
What are we spitting from Raw?
Sorry.
Doudrop, Eva Marie.
How do you guys feel about Eva Marie in ring?
Awful.
Since she's returned.
Terrible.
She's still trash.
Why? Why is she still a thing? Like I wasn't hyped for her return. I know Matt was because of the vignettes and whatnot, but I
Because
knew
she was
what to
getting heat because
Oh no, they did a fantastic job with that. That was great.
her in-ring has and will always be garbage.
Hey, you can't say always. Everyone can get better.
No.
She had plenty of time to go get better and did not.
Oh, I'm not saying that she did get better. I'm just saying you can improve.
No.
I'll believe it when I see it.
No.
I don't like Eva Marie.
No.
I'm not a fan either.
The day Eva Marie puts on a great match is the day I'll admit that Sheamus is not the best wrestler in all time and the greatest mass wrestler in history.
I'm spitting everything Natalya, Tamina, Nikki, and Rhea.
Yes. Okay. So that's something else I wanted to bring up. So next week, they apparently have a tag title match. And I know.
We're not covering Raw next week.
Well,
don't even watch it, Vince.
I will say that both Tegan Nox and Shotzi tweeted, they're like, okay, we get it. They're fucking scared, whatever. I personally think it's bullshit that you had Shotzi and Nox beat them multiple times and then you don't have them on TV anymore.
You know, I'm sorry, Katie. I want to go ahead and just spit this championship contenders bullshit that WWE's been on for the last months. Like it's
been longer than that because Travis has complained about it forever. Travis has always hated the beat the champion to become the number one contenders for the title.
No, but it always used to be like a trope thing. Like, oh, maybe that leads to a championship match. But they actually started, instead of actually having number one contenders matches, they're having championship contenders matches. The fuck kind of bullshit is that? What's the point of having a match later?
You know what match they should have had on Monday Night Raw instead of all this bullshit with Natalya and Tamina and Rhea and Nikki? Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. That shit was on Main Event and that shit slapped. I didn't watch the actual match, but
you know what else could have been on Monday Night Raw instead of Eva Marie versus Doudrop or any of that shit? Another person who has just randomly disappeared, Keith motherfucking Lee. Oh, yeah. Spitting another week without Keith Lee on my TV.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. We don't know if health-wise he's good again.
I think he's slowly trying to get back into in-ring shape, like in terms of his cardio and his stamina, because it wasn't there.
Oh, I completely forgot about Karrion Kross's weird fucking wannabe Aleister Black promo too.
Oh, I forgot about that too. Yeah, we're spitting that because fuck that.
I think we spit Karrion Kross every week on this show.
Well, normally it's for his ring attire, and now it's because
I tried to make him like existence.
Yeah, I know, but now they're trying to make him like Aleister Black meets fucking Sean O'Hare when he was doing the Devil's Advocate thing. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but you can't just keep putting people in black suits and have them cut cryptic promos.
Nope,
it's not a thing.
It hasn't worked yet.
Clearly, stupid.
Oh man.
Spitting everything Matt Riddle. Except for, the fun stuff like shut your dumb ass up, smacking his face against the pole, and Randy tuning him out because he wouldn't shut the fuck up.
You now have a meme. You're welcome.
Yo. Monday Night Raw, spit or swallow overall.
Swallow because of Big E.
Yeah, Big E
swallow
won.
Because of Big E.
You have to swallow Big E won. Like,
yeah.
There's no way around it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Roman and the Bloodline kick off SmackDown. Paul does all the talking, says that everyone fears Roman, including Brock and Finn. And then Finn Balor shows up. We get a weird handicap match. It's Finn Balor defeating the Usos in a 1-on-2 match. Afterwards, Paul tries to convince Roman that Brock is scared. Roman still seems a little bit skeptical, says, listen, bro, I don't pay you to I pay you to know things. I don't pay you to not know shit. Like, that's why you're here. You're not supposed to be under the impression. You're supposed to know, is he showing up at Extreme Rules? Rude loses to Booger. Knock gets assaulted by Aziz Ansari and Apollo. Weird team. We got a KO interview. This is prior to him showing up on Rampage about being sick of Happy Corbin. Then on his way out for his match, he gets jumped by Happy Corbin, during his entrance and is taken out. And then that's just kind of the end of that. Paul and Kayla do this weird thing backstage where Paul starts insinuating that Kayla wants to fuck him. Paul says Kayla wants to fuck him and he wants her to leave him alone. I don't understand how, if he is single, that Paul would be turning down Kayla Braxton outside of, the possible COVID issues. Paul downplays Big E's win. After bumping into Big E, downplays Big E's win. He's like, oh yeah, you made the smart choice. You went to Raw, blah, blah, blah.
Also,
we're getting there. Hold on. Yeah, he showed up right now, showed up for the first time on SmackDown. Paul downplays him, says, oh, you went to Raw and did the right thing and beat the guy you knew you could beat and blah, blah, blah. And then my boys, the Usos, do what they should have done, whooped his ass and sent him back to Raw because he does not fucking belong on SmackDown. He showed up, got his ass beat, and got sent back to Raw as soon as he showed up on SmackDown because nothing else is canon on the Smackin' It Raw podcast, which is why there was no discussion of the 24/7 title on Monday Night Raw either.
Okay.
Doesn't happen.
Okay.
Big E showed up, got his ass whooped, sent back. Good for the Usos.
But that coup de grace simultaneously with the beginning was fantastic.
No, it was just a coup de grace. It was just a coup de grace.
No, I will not sell.
And we're not there. We got a Tin Man promo about crippling Edge not being done yet. Needs to finish it up, and it's up to Edge whether the Tin Man goes to his house and takes him out there, if Edge crawls his crippled ass back in the ring. Then we got a Becky interview saying that she's never been to a homecoming before, so she might just come to Bianca's because she's interested. She looked like Uma Thurman in like 40 different ways. Last week's tag match we get this week, Zelina and Carmella lose to Tony and Liv by count out because we did another broken nose angle because we haven't done enough of those lately. And then after the fact, Liv's like, I don't give a fuck if I broke your nose. I'm gonna make you fucking ugly. Let's have a match at Extreme Rules. And Carmella backstage with Zelina and Sonya and Adam.
When did they become best friends too? Just
I don't know. She's just like, oh, you still look pretty. And she's like, oh, okay. And then everything was fine. And then accepts the match. Street Profits do their thing where they run down the show, hype up the homecoming for Bianca, mention Shotzi, even though she wasn't on the show, and Knox. Balor also does a promo explaining the demon, says he's from a family who runs trains. The demon summons him. He doesn't summon the demon. He's going to win. And then there's like a weird graphic where he's like, this is the face of Finn Balor. And at Extreme Rules, you will see the face of the demon as the champion. And then it like fades into the demon makeup, but it was really bad CGI or whatever the fuck.
Or just a fantastic Snapchat filter.
Or a terrible Snapchat filter. Snapfat. Wow. What the fuck's that?
What is up with us today, man?
Naomi is going to get her match. She's sick of Sonya's shit.
Shelton? You were about to call her Shelton.
Yeah, she's sick of Shelton's shit. Dominic loses to Sammy after telling his dad not to come out. He comes out anyway. Cannot wait for them to just finish this and have Dom destroy his father. Then in our main event, Kane, the mayor of Knox County, comes down, brings out Bianca Belair, gives her the key to the county. They said this key can open any door. I guarantee you that key does not fit in a goddamn single keyhole in any of the doors in any of that county. And then as she's singing Rocky Top, which is apparently a thing, not into college sports, and I'm assuming that's what it's from, so I don't know. Becky interrupts, mocks Rocky Top, comes down. They have a little back and forth. Bianca tries to hit her with the KOD. Becky gets out and then hits her with what they're apparently calling the manhandle slam.
They've been calling that.
She's only done it fucking twice.
No,
I don't remember them saying it.
They didn't say it at SummerSlam.
Yeah, so this would be the first time I've heard it called the manhandle slam.
The first time it has been called that.
They were doing
You're lying.
It. No, she deadass was fucking being called. She called that during her babyface run.
No, she never did that.
Never heard it. I think you're lying.
No, it's a finisher.
Non-canon. I lied about a lot of things.
Yeah, you lied about
things, though.
Yeah, you
lied about a coup de grace
Sheamus.
big ending earlier, and now you're lying
You lied
about
about
this.
Sheamus being the greatest masked wrestler of all time when he's fucking not.
No, it's a fantastic wrestler, greatest masked wrestler of all time. Can't even
Didn't
think
say
of
he
a
wasn't
single.
a good wrestler. He's just not the greatest masked wrestler of all time.
Yes, he's a fantastic. He's the number one. Number one.
I just can't wait for later on this weekend when Reek listens back to this episode and I get a DM saying this man said it was a handicap match. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That's exactly what he'll say.
Mm-hmm. What are we swallowing from SmackDown?
Bianca owning Becky Lynch in that promo. I feel like since SummerSlam, Becky Lynch has, maybe it's her being away for so long, but Bianca's just kind of owned Becky. She's felt like the bigger star, even though Becky is technically the bigger star. Bianca has just been better on the mic, and she's just been handling herself much better than Becky. Maybe Becky's just not comfortable being a heel, but it's just like Bianca's been better.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I just think Bianca's finally found her niche. Comfortable place, and her niche, where she's comfortable on the mic. And I look at it kind of like a Rock Austin thing, where The Rock being great on the mic and being as talented as he wasn't ever actually better than Austin, but when they were toe to toe on the mic, The Rock was kind of one up on Austin, even though Austin was way, way over. I've never thought Becky was extremely talented on the mic. There was a lot of shit she did, especially in her babyface run, that I didn't like. So I'm not surprised that Bianca's better, because Bianca's been entertaining on the mic for fucking ever. Especially you're in this ring and you don't even go here. Like
the callback to her NXT thing when Charlotte showed up.
Which she should have never showed her ass up there anyways.
So I don't know that she's necessarily making Becky look bad or that Becky's look bad. I actually kind of enjoyed heel Becky. Might be just because of other reasons. People that stand for Becky and now have to accept the fact that she's a heel. Neither here nor there. No, I've enjoyed the shit out of it, and I'm really looking. I feel like Becky's that person that if Bianca does beat her and get that title back, it's gonna take Bianca to that next tier where she's on the level of a Sasha, a Bailey, a Charlotte, that's what they're trying to do.
I think it's clear that WWE is really high on Bianca, and she's going to be that next big star, because after the Horsewoman, I think you saw like Asuka and Alexa, mostly Alexa, really transcend that next tier where the Horsewomen are at, and I think Bianca is going to get there as well. Mm-hmm. I want to swallow Rey Mysterio being a terrible listener and still coming out on commentary, even though Dom says, no, don't come out. I like how, I just like how it's playing out. I don't know, for whatever reason, it's popping me every fucking week. It's like, oh no, he's going to stay back there. And then fucking Rey Mysterio's music hits. It makes me laugh.
I really want Dom to just get pissed off and jack his dad in the face.
He'll probably lose that match too.
I'm also going to swallow Finn Balor's handicap match. The fact that he took on both of the Usos, the WWE Tag Team Champions, on his own, got the win, looked like a boss, going to go in, face Roman. Fucking great.
I'm going to swallow the fact that Big E confronted Roman to start the show.
Did not happen.
So I'm going to swallow Paul and Kayla. Because that shit, entertaining.
Love me some Paul and Kayla.
It's just so funny every time. Because you brought it up, so I can't say it. And then him turning around and Big E just being right there.
Yeah, the first time he was on the show.
Yeah, crazy.
Then the big ending and the coup de grace.
But very reminiscent of when he would do it with the briefcase, except now he is the WWE title. So I liked that. I just liked the whole backstage stuff. So and the backstage stuff with Paul and Roman too.
In all seriousness, a lot of people were like, oh, this is his farewell tour, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, once you cash in the Money in the Bank for a championship on another show, you are now a part of that show. You are not part of the other show, which is why on the Smackin It Raw podcast, all the stuff that Vince is trying to talk about is non-canon and did not happen.
To Matt and only Matt.
Yes, Katie.
So does that mean you're really not going to watch Raw next week because of the match that's happening?
Yeah, no, because that is some fucking bullshit. Like, there's no people are like, well, they need ratings. I don't give a fuck if they need ratings. That is straight up utter bullshit. You can't even say it's a farewell tour like anything. They're putting three SmackDown dudes in a match next week with
technically 4. Big E's still technically a SmackDown guy.
No, he's not. He won the WWE Championship. He's now part of the Raw roster.
No, his thing on the website is Raw.
Okay, statement retracted.
Yeah, shut your ass up, Vince. Play me, try. I know my shit.
I'm also going to swallow the Tin Man. That whole promo was fantastic. One more match, Seth and Edge. I don't know how I feel about like all of Edge's feuds being like 3 to 4 matches with dudes. Like we did a whole thing with Randy for fucking ever. Now it's Seth. We got a little bit with Roman, but now it's Seth and multiple matches. But you know, if this is where we got to go. It's what, best out of 3 or whatever, and this will solve it. Cool.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
that'll be the final match.
Hopefully,
Probably
it's something awesome and crazy.
I hope so.
Yeah.
A match where you just gotta have to bathe your opponent in blood.
Anyway, you were talking about Paul and Kayla, and Vince tried to interrupt, but that whole thing was fantastic. The Usos taking out Big E and explaining to him, "Hey, sir, you don't belong here. This isn't your show anymore." Great.
Also, the tease of Kayla saying that her sources say that Brock Lesnar will be moving over to Raw in the draft.
She doesn't fucking have sources. She's lying.
Kayla Meltzer.
Kayla Meltzer.
Oh, I also really enjoyed before Big E got his ass kicked and told he doesn't belong there, how Big E was like, well, I'll be at Survivor Series. So it could be your boy Roman, or maybe it's your boy Paul, or maybe Finn will just fuck everything up for you. Or Brock. Your boy Brock Paul, or maybe Finn will just fuck everything up for you.
I like that.
That was a great line.
But I'll be there.
That's also why I liked the Paul Roman stuff backstage.
Oh yeah. So you know what? I don't know if you guys watch Breaking Bad and later on Better Call Saul, but there's a specific character, like a scene where one of the Salamanca guys kind of does the same like scene with Saul Goodman, the lawyer. He knows he's lying about something. He asks him to repeat his story over and over again until like it just gets very fucking tense, and that's what I got. So if there's any Better Call Saul fans, scene...
No, you're saying wrong. It's actually Better Call Swole. Matt understands.
I know where it's from.
Thank you.
Somebody's virginity is getting taken.
I also know where that's from. Is the trial gonna happen for that, or is it not gonna happen?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to happen like next week.
I think we're gonna have a trial for Benji too, but that's not
the trial of Benji.
That's also next week.
You guys are gonna be the only reason I'm gonna be able to like stay up through my like overnight shift, because I'm gonna be working. I'm gonna be working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So you guys are gonna be the only reason I stay up.
Fucking disgusting. But you're welcome.
All right. This has been a really long show, which indicates that we had a lot of good wrestling this week, but also we're running on 2 hours now. So do we do spits for SmackDown?
No.
Okay. Just quick spits for SmackDown. What are we spitting?
The women's match, because we should have got it fucking last week, and then you end it with a fucking count out. Pissed off. I'm mad.
I want to spit Matt, like no selling Biggie.
All right, he's done for the show.
I'm also just gonna spit fuck, what's his name? Boog, whatever.
Booger.
Yeah, him.
Rick
and
Boogs.
Yeah, him and Bobby Roode.
Robert.
Not even Shinsuke, just like and I'm also spitting Happy Corbin, because fuck him.
Is he just like a parody of Pharrell Williams at this point? That's what
Who knows? Who cares? Fuck him.
The demon Snapchat filter spit.
Yes, demon Snapchat filter spit as well. I agree with all of that except for what Vince tried to say. SmackDown, spit or swallow overall?
Swallow. Wasn't bad.
I'm just gonna gargle it.
Spitting.
I'm spitting it.
Matt's spitting it.
That's we've been new.
For uncertain reasons, probably why you're not going to hear us talk about at least a good chunk of Raw next week.
Or we could just skip Raw.
Or we could just skip Raw. Overall, what was your favorite show this week, Katie?
Oh God.
She was not ready for the question.
I knew that was coming too.
Vince, favorite show?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it. I want to give it a Raw because of Big E, but I feel like the overall show is a toss up between AEW and NXT 2.0. But I'm gonna say Raw just because of Big E, because I never thought I'd see it.
I'm gonna say NXT because the index wedding.
That's also a very valid reason.
Because what are you gonna say?
Well, that's where I was on the fence of, was it's an index wedding versus Big E.
Exactly.
And now I've got to be the decision. I've got to be the deciding factor.
Isn't that what you'd like to be?
No, I like being like, I like going against the grain and then telling everyone it doesn't matter what they think. I'm right. That's what I like.
Isn't that what you're doing now?
Tough decisions. No, I'm agreeing with one of you here. If you guys had both said Raw, I could have been like, no, it's NXT and the index wedding. And then I'm gonna go Big E as well. I'm gonna go with Vince on this just because it's been a long time coming, and I'm happy to see Big E as champion, despite the fact that he doesn't know where the fuck he belongs. No, you know what? Fuck it. Index wedding because of SmackDown.
Hey,
yep.
Nice.
Because of non-canon shit on SmackDown, NXT gets the win.
And it's gonna have some non-canon ramifications on Raw this Monday. So
exactly.
Butterfly effect.
Ruining shit for me, WWE, just ruining shit. It's very simple.
You know what? I'll jump on the bandwagon. Give me NXT. I don't want to be left out.
Katie Kinsey Bay, Daddy Delgado, Pornhub Poppy Vince, and the Warden Matt Ritter. As per all of us, the best show of the week this week was the debut of NXT 2.0.
Wild.
Katie, tell them about She Leads Showcase and the other projects you have coming up very soon and where they can find it and when.
Okay. Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time, of course. Twitch.tv/She Leads Showcase. It's all one word. It's in the link tree in my bio on Twitter, which means now I have to start telling people my Twitter, and I wouldn't for the longest time. So it's Katie Wrasslin 13. WRASSLIN no G 13. On Monday, my interview with Wreak Havoc will be out because that is something I'm doing. It was a very good talk, like, because mostly everyone I know has like interviewed someone, so it's my take on interviewing the interviewer. So that'll be out. My next one will be with Matt. I just have to find a time, which we'll do next week.
Pretty easily. His schedule's kind of easy.
Oh yeah,
navigate it with your own.
Yeah, so we just have to find a day. So that's not gonna be bad. But that will be out. I'm gonna put them out every 2 weeks. So
yeah.
But if you want to see me pop the fuck off and go on the best rant of my entire life, Thursday, the 23rd. Yeah, 23rd. 9 p.m. Twitch.tv/She Leads Showcase. You'll see it because it's gonna fucking happen.
Question.
Yo.
If people are unable to watch the live stream for whatever reason, on demand version, where can they watch the replay?
Oh, demand version. Again, if you click that, I've had something in my eye for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna keep it closed. The audio version and the YouTube version are in that link tree in my bio. Stop! It hurts. I don't know what's in my eye. I've been trying to.
It took me gold.
You know what? Fuck off, Seamus Stan. I'm not in the mood for you. The link tree in my bio on Twitter will take you to the Anchor, where you can listen to it on Anchor or Spotify, and YouTube as well. So while you're over there, subscribe, follow, do the things, please.
Gonna do that after I'm done recording this show.
You fucking
Vince,
better.
do your thing.
At SCS Vince on all social media platforms, and follow the Instagram page at Smackin It Raw Pod. You can also follow the Twitter page, which we're trying to grow. Please follow us there at Smackin It Raw Pod as well. Matt, tell them about the Facebook.
Calm down there, sunshine. You guys can find me at Matt Ritter, at MATTRIDDER on Twitter only. Also, Creation World, Twitter, Instagram, at The Creation World. That's THECREATIA World. Facebook is facebook.com/Creation World. And with that, you also get facebook.com/group/Smackin It Raw and facebook.com/group/Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow, where Travis and Mara talk about the CW universe and everything that is under that banner, which has actually been really fantastic, and I've been getting caught up. So please go check them out and give them a listen. Unfortunately, they have to talk about Supergirl, which has sucked in the last season, but they're entertaining. So go check that out if you're a fan. Vince mentioned that we are on Instagram at Smackin It Raw Pod, and that he runs that shit. Good for him. I'm proud of him. Doing a great job.
It's the little things that they give me to make me feel important.
Next episode of Return to Wrestling should be dropping next week, so look for that. It features Kyle from Apron Bump, and then you heard all the fun shit, including shout out to Get Yo Podcast. Vince and I will be on the next episode of the Get Yo Podcast show. I plan on getting Justin to help me make a sandwich of Vince a la the Yeti and Big Show with Hulk Hogan, and Vince will be the Hulk Hogan meat in the middle. So look for that.
Okay.
Anything else?
Stay tuned for Straight Talk Podcast. We're going to be having the WWE draft later on in the month, if not the start of October. I'm trying to get it out before the actual WWE draft.
You can watch us whoop Vince's ass again.
It'll be fun.
The first time you didn't get to see it because Vince is
audio
shady.
To be fair, I thought all shows ended up pretty well. If I do say so myself.
For Katie Kinsey Bebe and Pornhub Poppy, Daddy Delgado Vince, I'm the Warden Matt Ritter. We are the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. Until the next episode.